Hi, I'm Carrie, and welcome to So Darn Fun. This is a channel about clothing alterations, pattern reviews, pattern hacks, and other useful sewing how-tos. Today, we are going to learn how to make this really cute, easy peasy collar. All you need is your favorite knit pattern, and I'll show you how to do the collar. So go grab... What? Helga, that's so rude to interrupt. Helga wants you to make her collar, not mine. What do you do? But just between you and me, it's exactly the same pattern. So go grab your pattern and meet me back right here. For the demonstration today, I've already assembled my top, which consists of the front, the back, and the sleeves with an unfinished neckline. On my top you might notice 2 layers in the front and back, and that's because this knit is pretty thin, and so I'm just sewing the whole thing with 2 layers to thicken it up a bit because I really like the color and the texture and wanted to use it. So on your top, measure the neck hole edge. One thing I need to point out is this is pretty scooped, and the collar won't get the desired shape in the front if it isn't scooped a little bit in the front. So I would recommend lowering your neckline if it's not very low. And this one only comes about 6.25 inches below the shoulder seam to the lowest point in the front, just to give you some idea of what mine looks like. So once you have that, mine is about 24. We're going to take a piece that is 24 inches long. Keep in mind what your seam allowances are, and this is what you do. This is my collar. I am actually going to do 2 layers, but I'm just showing one right now. This will be the circumference of your neck edge, plus seam allowance, plus any overlap that you want on the front of your sweater or on the kind of the shoulder edge. So if you want to overlap by 3/4 of an inch to accommodate buttons, then that's going to be 1.5 more inches added on to your already added on seam allowance. So I'll put some math up in the corner here to make it make sense visually for you. So let me show you how that will go on the sweater. First, let's quarter our neckline. We'll put our shoulder seams together and find our center back point right there. Our center front right here. And then I put those pins together to find the side, the center point on the side of this neck edge. And I will do the same on my collar. But being that I haven't really sewn my collar, there's going to be seam allowances in there, so I'll try to take that into consideration. But yet I will still quarter it right here. I'll do the center back. And then instead of aligning it directly with the front, I will hold it in a little bit. My seam allowances are 3/8, so I'll hold it in about 3/8. And then find these points on the fold here. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to put right side to wrong side. Wait. Hold up. Excuse me while I interrupt myself, but this is post-top construction me speaking to pre-top construction you, and I need to explain something about the way that this collar was put on. My description was to put the right side of the collar to the wrong side of the top whereby exposing this seam right here, which would actually be covered by the collar. The whole reason for that was so that on the inside, that it would be really nicely, cleanly finished and you wouldn't see any seam. Well, that's just fine and works great, except for the fact that over here, it shows a little bit. Now, I was able to serge it, press it, and then top stitch it neatly down so it doesn't distract from this top. But if you don't have a method of actually making that seam look nice, I would highly suggest that you do it the way that the blue top was done. And after reviewing my video, one of the things that I neglected to say was how deep the collar was from the top up here to the bottom. I talked a lot about the neck edge and the 24 inches it was, plus seam allowance and all that, but I forgot to mention this, which is just styling. Mine is 15 inches. This is actually based on an Armani top, which was 15 to 16 inches. You can do whatever you want. If you made yours shorter this way, then the collar just wouldn't hang down quite as much and actually would still be really cute. It would be just kind of a shorter turtlenecky cowly sort of a thing rather than one that sort of goes out over the shoulder. Now here's the blue one. And this one is actually, the opening is positioned like the Armani top. The Armani top had a zipper closure, however. This one, I have placed the wrong side of the collar to the right side of the top, sewing it really like this. See, I've got the wrong side of the collar to the right side of the top, and it was stitched like this. So my raw edges ended up on the inside, if you can see them right here. You can see the serging right there. I top stitched it down anyway, just because I liked it lying flat, but it does not show on the outside if I have my collar in such a way that the seam shows down here. There's no raw edges, just the top stitching. So if I was to go back and redo that white top, I probably would do it this way. Wrong side of collar to right side of top, just letting the unfinished edges or raw edges be on the inside, and I would just serge them off. That way I don't have to worry about exposing any of it around here. So that's probably the best option. So that's my advice from the future me. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. I'm going to put right side to wrong side. So my collar right side, yeah, I'm going to put it right over here at the side edge. And seam allowance in and pin it on. Center front. So collar's on the inside, tucked in there, because we did right side of the collar to the wrong side of the sweater. So if I pull it out, let's pretend it's stitched. This is what my collar is going to do. Now I think I'm going to overlap these the other way because I actually want this part to have the buttons on it, which means it needs to be under that part. So it's kind of good to go through these steps so that you can kind of figure all that kind of stuff out. Let's see if that's better. There we go. So that's the general idea. And this part here, you can even use a zipper. You can button it up, make it more of like a turtleneck, or zip it up or whatever. So I'm going to take this to the machine and finish it, and then you will see what it looks like when it's all done. And I would like to thank you for joining us today. And here you can see our collars are all buttoned up. At least hers is buttoned up. Mine is snapped up so that you can see what they look like when they're all done up. My fabric has more body, so my collar has a tendency to want to stand out a little bit more stiffly, whereas Helga's is much more soft and is a little bit more drapey. So these collars are really quite versatile. Helga wanted me to ask you to leave in the comments below whose collar you like the best. She's feeling a little bit competitive, aren't you? Helga! Oh my goodness, you've got issues, girl. Or maybe it's me who has issues. Well, either way, I appreciate your joining us today and putting up with my silliness. I would love it if you would give me a like, if you would give me a subscribe, a comment. All of those things help my channel with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for staying with me this long, and I wish for you to have a very blessed day. And I'll see you next time. Well, I actually won't see you. You'll see me, but you know what I mean.